The argument that Americans face an increasingly uncertain or bleak economic future is a multifaceted issue, rooted in a variety of systemic, social, and economic factors. While some individuals and sectors of the economy continue to thrive, the broader outlook for the average American, especially those in the middle and lower classes, appears increasingly precarious. Factors such as income inequality, technological disruption, the decline of traditional industries, skyrocketing debt levels, and the erosion of the social safety net have contributed to a sense of economic insecurity. This video will explore these factors in depth, examining why many believe that Americans, as a whole, have no economic future. Number 1. Income inequality and stagnation of wages. One of the most significant issues threatening the economic future of many Americans is the growing income inequality. In recent decades, the gap between the wealthiest individuals and the rest of the population has widened dramatically. According to data from the Economic Policy Institute, the top 1% of earners in the United States have seen their incomes grow by more than 200% since 1979, while the bottom 90% have seen only modest gains of around 25%. This disparity is not merely an abstract statistic, it has profound implications for the economic security of the average American. The rising cost of living, particularly in areas such as housing, healthcare, and education, has far outpaced wage growth for most workers. Many Americans, especially those in low and middle income brackets, struggle to make ends meet despite working full-time jobs. This stagnation of wages contributes to a broader sense of economic instability and makes it difficult for individuals to save for the future, invest in their education, or plan for retirement. Additionally, the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few has significant political and social consequences. Wealthy individuals and corporations wield disproportionate influence over the political system, shaping policies that often benefit the rich at the expense of the broader public. Tax cuts for the wealthy, deregulation of industries, and reductions in social safety net programs have all contributed to a system in which the rich get richer, while the economic prospects for the average American remain uncertain. Number 2. The decline of manufacturing and blue-collar jobs. Historically, manufacturing and blue-collar jobs provided a pathway to economic security and upward mobility for millions of Americans. In the mid-20th century, workers with high school diplomas could find stable, well-paying jobs in industries such as steel, automobiles, and textiles. These jobs allowed individuals to buy homes, support families, and build savings for retirement. However, over the past several decades, these industries have undergone a dramatic transformation. Globalization, automation, and the offshoring of jobs have decimated many of these industries, leading to the loss of millions of manufacturing jobs. Factories that once employed thousands of workers have shut down, leaving entire communities economically devastated. For example, the Rust Belt region of the United States, which was once a thriving center of manufacturing, has experienced significant economic decline as factories have closed and jobs have disappeared. Many workers who lost their jobs have struggled to find new employment, and those who have found work often face lower wages and fewer benefits than they did in the past. Automation, in particular, poses a significant threat to the future of work in America. As technology continues to advance, more and more jobs are being replaced by machines. According to a study by McKinsey & Company, up to 30% of the tasks performed by workers in the U.S. economy could be automated by 2030. While automation has the potential to increase productivity and create new types of jobs, it also threatens to displace millions of workers, particularly in industries such as transportation, retail, and manufacturing. The workers most vulnerable to automation are often those with lower levels of education and skills, who may find it difficult to adapt to the changing job market. Number 3. Rising debt levels. Another factor contributing to the precarious economic future of many Americans is the rising levels of debt. Household debt in the United States has reached record levels, with many Americans struggling to keep up with payments on mortgages, credit cards, auto loans, and student loans. The Federal Reserve reports that total household debt reached $17 trillion in 2023, an alarming figure that highlights the financial strain on many American households. Student loan debt, in particular, has become a major burden for younger generations. The cost of higher education has skyrocketed in recent decades, forcing many students to take on significant amounts of debt to finance their education. According to the Federal Reserve, student loan debt in the U.S. stands at over $1.70 trillion, with millions of borrowers facing years, if not decades, of repayment. This debt burden delays major life decisions such as buying a home, starting a family, or saving for retirement, and contributes to a broader sense of financial insecurity. Credit card debt and medical debt are also significant problems for many Americans. High-interest credit card debt can quickly spiral out of control, trapping individuals in a cycle of debt that is difficult to escape. Medical debt is another major issue, particularly for those without adequate health insurance. A serious illness or injury can lead to thousands of dollars in medical bills, forcing individuals to choose between paying for healthcare and other basic necessities. On a broader level, government debt is also a concern. The national debt has ballooned to over $31 trillion, raising concerns about the long-term sustainability of government spending. Some fear that the growing national debt could lead to higher taxes, cuts in social programs, or inflation, all of which could further strain the economic prospects of the average American. Number 4. Cost of living and housing crisis. The rising cost of living, particularly in urban areas, is another factor contributing to the economic challenges facing Americans. In many cities, housing prices have soared to levels that are unaffordable for many middle and lower-income families. This housing crisis has been exacerbated by a shortage of affordable housing, stagnant wages, and the growing concentration of wealth in urban areas. According to the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, there is a shortage of 7 million affordable rental homes for extremely low-income households. The housing crisis has forced many individuals and families to make difficult choices. Some are forced to live far from their workplaces in order to find affordable housing, leading to long commutes and higher transportation costs. Others are forced to spend a significant portion of their income on rent or mortgages, leaving little left over for savings, healthcare, or education. In extreme cases, individuals and families are pushed into homelessness, as they are unable to afford even the most basic housing. The cost of healthcare is another major burden for many Americans. While the U.S. healthcare system provides some of the best medical care in the world, it is also one of the most expensive. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, the average annual premium for employer-sponsored health insurance was over $22,000 in 2022. Even those with insurance often face high deductibles, co-pays, and out-of-pocket expenses. For those without insurance, the cost of healthcare can be prohibitively expensive, leading many to forego necessary medical treatment. Number 5. Technological disruption and the gig economy. Technological advancements have transformed the economy in many ways, creating new opportunities but also new challenges. One of the most significant changes in recent years has been the rise of the gig economy, in which individuals work as independent contractors rather than as traditional employees. While gig work offers flexibility and autonomy, it also lacks many of the benefits and protections that come with traditional employment, such as health insurance, retirement savings, and job security. For many workers, gig economy jobs do not provide enough income to achieve long-term financial stability. According to a study by the Economic Policy Institute, the median hourly wage for gig workers is just $10.22, far below the median wage for traditional employees. Furthermore, gig workers are responsible for covering their own health insurance, retirement savings, and other expenses, making it difficult for them to build wealth or plan for the future. In addition to the gig economy, technological disruption is also affecting traditional industries. As mentioned earlier, automation and artificial intelligence have the potential to displace millions of workers in industries such as transportation, retail, and manufacturing. While some new jobs will be created, there is concern that many workers will not have the skills or education necessary to transition to these new roles. This could lead to higher levels of unemployment, underemployment, and economic insecurity. Number 6. Erosion of the social safety net. The U.S. social safety net, which includes programs such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and unemployment insurance, has long been a critical support system for millions of Americans. However, many of these programs are facing significant challenges, raising concerns about their long-term viability. Social Security, which provides retirement benefits for millions of Americans, is projected to face a funding shortfall in the coming decades. According to the Social Security Administration, the program's trust fund is expected to be depleted by 2033, at which point benefits may need to be reduced unless changes are made. This could have devastating consequences for retirees who rely on Social Security as their primary source of income. Medicare and Medicaid, which provide healthcare for the elderly, disabled, and low-income individuals, also face financial challenges. The rising cost of healthcare, combined with an aging population, has put significant strain on these programs. Without reforms, there is concern that these programs may become unsustainable in the future, leaving millions of Americans without access to affordable healthcare. Number 7. Political gridlock and policy failures. Finally, political gridlock and policy failures have contributed to the economic challenges facing Americans. The U.S. political system has become increasingly polarized, making it difficult to pass comprehensive reforms that could address issues such as income inequality, healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The influence of wealthy individuals and corporations in politics has also led to policies that often benefit the rich at the expense of the broader public. For example, the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was promoted as a way to boost economic growth, primarily benefited the wealthiest individuals and corporations. According to the Tax Policy Center, the top 1% of earners received nearly 20% of the total tax cut, while the bottom 60% received less than 10%. This type of policy, which exacerbates income inequality, undermines the economic prospects of the average American.